What is up, Cougar Nation? Mitch Harper, Dallen Graff with KSLSports.com and KSL News Radio. Here at BYU Football Fall Camp, day 4, now in the rearview mirror. And the Cougars, we kind of saw a little bit of an eventful, 20 minutes or so of practice. There was that typical 6-minute water break or so. But we did see some action today, and I thought it was some noteworthy stuff, Dallen. What stood out to you?
Yeah, good to be out here again, and they had the pads on, the shoulder pads on today. I think this was the second day of practice with those, and Coach Funk and A-Rod both mentioned afterwards sort of maybe increased level of physicality. He feels a little more real now that you get those on, and I think you saw that in the 11-11 that we got to witness, and I don't know, it's just fun to be out here again. I don't know, it's great.
Yeah, it was a lot of good stuff here today at practice. One of the things that did stand out, I thought, was kind of keeping an eye on the quarterback situation. Jacob Conover seems to be that clear-cut number 2, and even Aaron Roderick talked that Conover is the number 2 QB. The battle more maybe is at 3, where Cade Finnegan and Soljay Mayava-Peters are battling to be in that third spot. We saw Cade Finnegan. He threw a deep pass down the field. That was a nice ball. Came up incomplete, but the highlight of the day was Jaron Hall, who, no surprise, the star player of this BYU team. He connected with Chase Roberts late in the practice observation window, and it was a nice deep ball for a touchdown to the young redshirt freshman.
Yeah, we didn't get to see many lengthy passes, a lot of check down, swing passes to the running back, but that deep pass by Jaron, I mean, that's why he's QB1, right? I mean, it was a beautiful pass. I thought Conover looked really good in the time that he got. I thought Finnegan was just efficient, didn't throw any bad balls into traffic, quick outs, getting it on time. It seems like there's a big comfort level with this offense. Aaron Roderick mentioned to us afterwards that they're about 90% done with install, which is early, more than that they normally do at this point, but with a lot of experience coming back on this team, sort of digging into that early, and I think you could sense that in practice.
This is a talented football team. I mean, we saw an NFL scout here, someone from the Pittsburgh Steelers was evaluating this team. There's a lot of talent, and I still struggle to think what maybe the weaknesses of this offense. I think we're pulling hairs to suggest it's the backup quarterback, because if Jaron's healthy, they're going to be fine. I continue to be impressed with Chris Brooks. He's one of the guys I think continues to emerge as a potential star for BYU. I think physically, a lot of Cougar fans have been impressed with the way he's built and then his combination of size and speed. That continues to pop when he's out here on the practice fields. I also thought, too, Kingsley Suamataia is a guy that he's primarily playing at tackle, either at left tackle or right. I think he's going to be, when they line up against South Florida, probably at that right tackle spot. Kingsley, he looks fantastic. I think he's going to be a special in this offensive line.
Yeah, A-Rod called him freakish. We talked about his freakish athleticism, and you could see that on display. I just love seeing the different combinations. That first team offense, you had Kingsley at right tackle, Harris LaChance, who was the starting right tackle last year, in at right guard, and we've seen him a couple times. We saw that last week as well, testing him out inside there, along with Barrington at the other guard, Pay, Freeland. I mean, that's a crazy good offensive line, and they're 8-9+ deep, as Coach Funk will tell you, and so will Aaron Roderick. So that offensive line unit is definitely a strength, but very interested to see how those competitions play out.
Saw on the defensive side, Fisher Jackson, Blake Mingleson, Morgan Piper, they got some hurry on Jacob Conover. The pocket collapsed, and Jacob Conover had to get the ball out quick for an incomplete. The defense created a little bit of pressure on this BYU offense, which I thought was a good sign. I thought that was noteworthy. Those are the sort of things you want to see from this BYU defense. It's not just simply about sacks. It's kind of creating that pressure and making things a little bit uneasy for a guy like Jacob Conover or Cade Finnegan. So I thought that was of note. Alden Tofa staying with the defense. He had a hard hit on Jax McChesney, maybe a little bit harder because, again, BYU doesn't typically go with a lot of full pads in camp. They just never really have with Kalani Sitake, and even Daryl Funk noted that is different than most places. And I think it's ultimately to try to get guys to the games. Also saw Alden Tofa, again, I mentioned him. He was playing a lot more defensive end. Same with John Nilsson. Saw John Nilsson lining up at defensive end, so keep an eye on him. He was a guy that played a lot of interior along the defensive line. He was lining up at a little bit of the defensive end spot. Any standouts on the defensive side for you?
One of the most interesting notes was just seeing George Udo out there with the first team defense as they started that 11-on-11 drills. Somebody we didn't see a ton last year as he's injured at times, but good to see him out there. I saw Jacob Bourne had a nice PBU, a nice pass deflection on a quick slant. It's good to see him. He gets a lot of time, and I think that's maybe an underrated player we don't really think about, but he got a lot of playing time last year when injuries happened, and obviously the coaching staff trusts him because he's getting some reps here in practice.
Staying on that 11-on-11 portion with the defense, at linebacker, it appeared to be Wilgar, Pepe Tanavasa, and Tooley as the first team defense. Kean Peely was out there. I didn't see Dallin Holker today, or did not see Gunnar Romney as well. Aaron Roderick, he noted in the practice, he said something along the lines of, if you remember, what did he say?
Hey, they're just holding certain players out when they feel it. It wasn't really specific, but it didn't seem
general
like
statement, basically.
Yes, general statement on that. So I don't know how much to dig into that, but certainly an opportunity for other guys to get in. Braden Cosper was part of that first group of wide receivers alongside Puka and Keanu Hill. Good reps for him. And then at tight end, Carter Wheat, Hunter Erickson getting some more reps as Holker, and even Rex, who was out there. Isaac Rex was playing, but didn't run a lot of routes. It was more blocking, but getting reps out there, which is good to see.
Rex is doing more, it does seem like, than what I was expecting, even what Kalani noted on day one. Cosper's interesting, if there are injuries. He's a guy that I think not many people are talking about, but he probably will be someone that gets a lot of run this season. I think that overall, though, it's day 4 is in the books. Another interesting storyline was Gabe Judy Lowley, the Vanderbilt transfer. He talked about how it's so different here at BYU compared to other places that he's been at, where at Vanderbilt it was 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. and everyone was dreading fall camp, whereas here he says they seem to enjoy it, about 7 a.m. to however late they go, sun up to sundown, as we were talking last week. Gabe Judy Lowley, a little bit different, more of a positive experience here at BYU rather than the SEC country.
Yeah, and he said we have fun here, and it was almost like a surprise, that fall camp is fun and these practices are fun, and I mean that's just a credit to Kalani, right, and his coaching staff and the culture here. Gabe Judy Lowley, the transfer, mentioned culture as part of that, and I mean you could see it on the practice field. Guys, you make a big play, the defense gets the stop. There's some yapping back and forth, but it's never anything too crazy. It's all in fun, and you can tell these guys are a single unit and motivated with that singular goal.
He's Dallen Graff. I'm Mitch Harper. Full coverage of Camp Kalani, BYU football fall camp coverage on KSLSports.com and KSL News Radio. You can subscribe to the Cougar Tracks podcast and Cougar Sports Saturday on the KSL Sports app. So make sure and do that. And then again, full write-ups on KSLSports.com. We'll be back on Wednesday for Team Picture Day. That'll be at the indoor practice facility. So we'll check in again from fall camp coming up on Wednesday afternoon. Talk to you then.